And European markets opened mostly lower today despite a slowdown in the spread of the coronavirus in mainland China, which has helped other markets to advance. The markets seem to be bucking the trend seen from their Asian counterparts and hopes raised from the extra stimulus measures from China and the U.S. Fed. Let's cross over now to Frankfurt Stock Exchange. My colleague there, Conrad Vusen, is standing by to tell us more. Hello, Conrad. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Jimmy. Hi from Frankfurt.
Now, the stock markets in Western Europe, or to be more precise, the Euro area and Switzerland are trading slightly below historical highs. But another rate cut in China and encouraging statements from the U.S. Federal Reserve had not managed to spark enthusiasm among investors. What's keeping them back?
Of course, Jimmy, there is a lot to keep them back. I'm going to talk to you about it first. Let me say that the big topic here, also at the Frankfurt Stock Exchange, is of course that shooting that happened in a town only about 20 minutes away from where I stand. A shooting last night where an alleged right-wing man killed 9 people. That is, of course, the big topic on the markets today. A topic to talk about, maybe not a topic to really drive the markets. You mentioned the factors that are driving the markets, this rate cut in China, also the Federal Reserve's minutes of the last Open Market Committee meeting, both indicate either lower interest rates or, at least in the United States, the potential that there was not going to be any change in terms of interest rates in the course of this year. Now, the reaction on the market here in Germany and all over Western Europe is not according to the textbook. This is not inspiring buying off company shares because, well, investors are focusing on the other side of the coin. Low interest rates is a positive thing, of course, but why are the reserve banks doing this? Because of the concern that the economic growth in the coming months will be sluggish at best. Nobody really knows how much of a negative impact the coronavirus really had on the world economy. That's what's on investors' minds and continues to be so, and that's why we are not seeing a strong upwards trend.
Well, Conrad, sad to hear about that development in the morning today around you. In the meantime, is Argentina making investors nervous too? The International Monetary Fund has suggested another debt restructuring for the Latin American country.
Well, of course, this is not positive news coming from Argentina, but news that sort of could be expected. How many times Argentina, the country in Latin America, has defaulted on its debt? 8 times. And you know, when the previous government in Buenos Aires, in Argentina, failed to deliver on its promises, many on the markets already had started to talk about that a default was something to be expected. And now with the more left-wing government in Argentina, it seems to be happening. So it is something which makes investors nervous, but it could be expected. Something else maybe could also be expected, but it's something that people here in Europe are talking more about, and that's a potential default of Lebanon, the Mediterranean country. The International Monetary Fund is also talking to Lebanon about a potential default. This is something that, well, it doesn't really make people here in the financial center of Germany nervous because of money that might have been invested in Lebanon, but the political risk is highlighted by this. The problems in Lebanon have a lot to do with Syria and the refugee crisis there. Lebanon is the country right next to Syria. It's carrying much of the burden of the Syrian refugee crisis. And economic activity and prosperity in Lebanon basically has been completely suffocated because of the refugee crisis, and that is really something that makes people here nervous and concerned, because Lebanon is not very far away from where we are.
Well, an eye on the German bond market today. A vegan bond is being launched, and it comes along with an interest payment promise of 7.5%. That's a lot for Europe. What's going on? What's behind this bond?
Well, the bond is issued by Vegans, which is a small supermarket chain here in Germany that has the specialty that it only sells foodstuff for vegans. The yield you talked about to me, 7.5%, of course indicates that there is significant amount of risk involved in investing in the bond, in the company. But I can tell you that people here in Frankfurt are quite happy about the news of this bond, because it indicates that a market which for a long time was considered to be something for hippies, you know, something a little bit esoteric, the vegan trend, is now finally getting mainstream, and financial people here in Frankfurt at the stock exchange, where this bond also will be traded, can make a bit of money on it. And that is, of course, positive news for the people here.
Perhaps that's the way to go. Thank you, Conrad. Enjoy the rest of the day. We have one more day to say thank God it's Friday. Enjoy the rest of the day.